For the 99th edition of the Giro d'Italia, the fight for pink reached a whole new level of meaning. Over 3 weeks of compelling racing, the Maglia Rosa would change hands a staggering 9 times as the Corsa Rosa weaved its way through stunning Italy. But first, there was the small matter of the Grande Partenza in the Netherlands, and a memorable one it turned out to be. Whilst the list of GC contenders at the start in Apeldoorn may have been long, the opening time trial was short. Over 9.8 kilometres, an expectant Dutch crowd demanded a home victor. And one did deliver, but only just.
And let's watch that clock tick over. I don't know, it's going to be close. How far is he from the finish line? He's only got a handful of seconds to spare. Maybe that time of Roglic is going to be good enough after all. As he stops the clock at 11:03, it's down to split seconds. That was as tight as you like, but it doesn't matter. It's the fastest time.
As Tom Dumoulin became the first wearer of the pink jersey, he simultaneously launched what for him would turn out to be a turbulent race. For the next 2 days, Dumoulin and his compatriots could at least savour the feverish support that lined the roads.
Ik weet niet of het voor Nederland belangrijk is, maar voor ons is het wel heel gaaf.
We race all over the world,
Dat we kunnen meemaken.
and now we can finally show Holland how professional we are at home in our
Er
sport.
zijn heel veel wedstrijden overal ter wereld.
How cool is it to hear that appreciation from the crowds?
Het publiek laten zien hoe wij met onze sport bezig zijn. En ja, weet
It's
je,
been a really incredible
dan
experience.
ook te horen dat het gewaardeerd wordt door al die mensen die hier staan. Dat is echt super gaaf.
For the time being, Martin Cilenc'i and the rest of the peloton can only sit back and watch Marcel Kittel deliver a sprinting masterclass. Cleaning up on the 2 flat stages, the German nudged his way into the pink jersey just as the Giro d'Italia headed for home.
I'm very, very proud that I can say now that I was able to wear it for one day. It's history, not only of the Giro d'Italia, but also of cycling in general. And yeah, it's great that I could experience that.
With the race back safely on Italian soil, it was a Tuscan who would reignite the race. Diego Ulissi punching his way to a 5th Giro victory and the first of his 2-stage wins. As Kittel lost pink to the resurgent Dumoulin, he'd soon lost his sprint dominance too as the gorilla started to beat his chest. Andre Greipel looking as strong as ever on the ramp into Benevento. It would mark the first of a hat-trick of wins for Lotto Soudal as the next day the immense talent of Tim Wellens sensed an opportunity.
Now the next man to go is Tim Wellens from Lotto Soudal. If that was a bluff, it had me fooled and it had everyone else fooled, I think, too.
With the Corsa Rosa entering Tuscany, Italian inspiration came in the form of Gianluca Brambilla, soloing his way to a stage win and the lead in his favourite race.
Actually, I was not thinking about Maglia Rosa. I was just thinking what I did and what I realized, because it was a really long and hard day. Maglia Rosa was just a consequence, and arrive after the victory of the stage.
Many had pegged Stage 9's rolling time trial through the Chianti region to redefine the complexion of the race. The challenging course and weather did serve up some surprises. Katusha's Ilna Zakharin worst affected. Brambilla, however, flew under the radar to hold on to pink. In Stage 10, Bardiani CSF's Giulio Ciccioni held his nerve on the descent whilst others struggled. Meanwhile, behind him, an attack from Movistar's Andre Amador proved fruitless. The lead would, however, change hands, but only between teammates, as Bob Jungels became the first Luxembourger since Charlie Gall in 1959 to wear pink. By this point, the Giro had already claimed its first victims. Mikel Landa ground to an illness-induced standstill that same day as the race lost one of its main contenders. A day later, Tom Dumoulin succumbed to the pain of saddle sores, his week in pink a distant memory. And 2 other key protagonists made more dignified exits. Both Kittel and Greipel bid their farewells, the latter doing so in style.
My season is full of goals still, and of course I'm not happy to pull out of the Giro with a red jersey. But the team and myself, we made the decision to go home to leave the Giro today and prepare for the upcoming goals.
With the sprinters' fun over for the time being and the Dolomites looming, the battle at the top of the Giro d'Italia was just beginning. By stage 14 of the 99th edition of the Giro d'Italia, the first major general classification shake-up had still to take place. It would take the Queen stage, 210 kilometres of high-altitude hell, to spark the battle for the pink jersey. With it now on the shoulders of Costa Rica's Andre Amador, it was time for pre-race favourite Vincenzo Nibali to launch his first proper assault of the Giro.
He had a little look at Scarponi. Scarponi gave him the wink and said, "I'm off, it's up to you." And now the team leader makes his big attack.
But it would only mark the beginning of a 48 hours to forget for the Shark, as Stefan Kruijswijk and Esteban Chavez followed, and they soon had him up against the ropes. The end result, a win for Colombia and another pink jersey for the Netherlands. Stage 15 was a mountain time trial up to Alpe di Siusi. Nibali wouldn't fare much better as bad luck threatened his Giro challenge.
Vincenzo Nibali has got a mechanical now. He slipped. His chain has slipped. He's just looking down at the mech, and also it's come to a complete halt. He throws his bike away in disgust. Where is a replacement bike for Vincenzo Nibali? Where's his team car? How much time is this costing him?
The answer, a minute and a half to Esteban Chavez and Alejandro Valverde. And worst of all, 2 minutes, 10 seconds to a powerful Stefan Kruijswijk, impressively extending his lead, whilst only being beaten by fractions of a second to the stage win by the unknown wildcard rider Alexander Filiferov. In a breathless stage 16, momentary lapses of concentration put Esteban Chavez under pressure with over half a stage still to ride. Up the road, meanwhile, Alejandro Valverde finally found his legs. As Kruijswijk followed, Nibali soon hit the wall. Eventually caught and passed by a resurgent Chavez, the Shark was floundering. Sure enough, Valverde sprinted to his first Giro stage win at the tender age of 36. Settling for second, Kruijswijk was looking impossible to crack and could now look forward to a temporary ceasefire with his nearest rivals. With the Dolomites done and dusted, the likes of Giacomo Nizzolo and the now reduced sprinting field had hoped to resume their battles on stage 17's flatter terrain. Were it not for crowd favourite Pipo Pozzato's burst within the final kilometre and then Roger Kluge's surge, they would have had their day. But it was a timely win for the I Am Cycling man, just a day after the team had announced they would fold at the end of the season. The next day saw Etixx-Quick stake their claim as team of this year's Giro. In an exquisitely orchestrated piece of teamwork, the tireless Gianluca Brambilla lured Cannondale's Moreno Moser into a full sense of security as the speedy Matteo Trentin shot up from behind to challenge in the sprint finish. A fourth stage win to celebrate for Etixx, capping off an incredible 3 weeks for the team. Through 5 days in the pink jersey, Stefan Kruijswijk had appeared the Giro champion-elect. All that now stood in his way were 2 final mountain stages, and treacherous ones at that. And all was going to plan until the descent of the Colle dell'Agnello. As Quick regained his composure, Chavez pushed on, dragging with him Vincenzo Nibali, ready to launch his great comeback. As Nibali took the stage, the seconds slipped away for a battered and bruised Quick.
Of the overall win have slipped through his fingers, and a brave rearguard action has come to naught.
Chavez had taken pink, but with a lead of just 44 seconds, the shark was beginning to circle. In the final showdown of the Corsa Rossa, the turquoise machine of Astana showed its might. And on the Colle della Lombardia, Nibali was primed to throw his knockout blow. Chavez cracked, Nibali imperious. The Giro was won.
Un campione che si chiama Vincenzo Nibali e che va a conquistare il Giro d'Italia a Sant'Anna di Vinagio. Grandissimo Vincenzo.
The man with the weight of expectation of a nation had done it. At the last opportunity, Vincenzo Nibali pulled on the Maglia Rosa with the finish line in Turin in sight. On the Giro's last day, Astana could celebrate, whilst the sprinters did battle for one last time. Nizzolo, stripped of his elusive first Giro stage win by the commissaires, was visibly unhappy when receiving his red jersey for the overall sprint competition. Far happier was Team Sky's Mikel Nieve, having proven a good plan B for the team after seizing the King of the Mountains title. Whilst Bob Jungels added the young rider's white jersey to his breakthrough 6th place. But it was Vincenzo Nibali, a defiant winner for his second victory in his home race, to close a memorable Giro d'Italia.